is the only thing that's powerful enough to overtake him. So until that happens, it's a playground.
Yeah, well, and until he hears them in the background, the old woman from the opening scene with the red cloaked figure screaming in pain, dying of the Red Death. She has horrible, like blood boils all over her face. And, he immediately goes, well, that's a problem. Burn the entire village to the ground to avoid the spread of infection. Kill everyone. Horrible images of like a mother running out of a house on fire with her crying baby in her hand, burning to death. Yeah. Images of burning crosses, like everything is just like instant and like this is the first 3 or 4 minutes of the movie. Yeah. He's like, I kill one of these two people, kill babies, light the entire village on fire who I'm already stealing all their food anyway. It's probably mercy to light them on fire rather than have them starve to death. So this is his view of it's like really wild. And although I will say, for a guy who's worried about the spread of infection, the fact that he goes up to Francesca and he goes up to her two relatives, the father and the boyfriend, and he goes, did any of you touch that old woman? No? All right, well, I'm kidnapping you then. Yeah. You're fine. You can come to my castle. And I was like, dude, that is a safety breach. That is not pandemic protocol to just bring people to your party and just, immediately drop them into your giant luxurious bathtub and throw the other ones in the dungeon. And I mean, obviously he's doing it because he's, very attracted to this young Francesca. Right. And he wants her to be part of his new satanic court that he is, now building, which I do like, again, that this movie is so much of him just like building a designed little Satan house. That's his whole plan. He's like, I have a perfect world I'm conjuring, and it involves stealing the food from the villagers and throwing parties in my house. And this young hot villager could be part of that if she wanted to be,
Yeah, absolutely.
If she's willing to follow the rules and take baths in my giant tub.
And this is also, I think this is where it's kind of a strange way to start your party, but he starts talking about like what terror really is. And he's talking about like the passing of time, a ticking clock, a heartbeat, all things obviously that it's kind of a countdown to death. It's just inevitable. We all have to age and die, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a part that's sort of taken from the story because it's the party is interrupted by the clock dinging, and so when it strikes on the hour, they all temporarily I guess they're made aware of the passage of time, and they feel that something's off, and there's sort of a doomed quality to the pausing of the festivities.
Yeah,
and then
because before it's just a distraction,
and then as soon as it's over, they just go back to like partying and stuff like that. So this is like Corman's reference to that as having, I do like that it's a display of power to him, that he's just like, oh, you're all having a grand time. Well, now stop and listen to my footsteps and listen to my pendulum swinging clock. I do like that it literally has the fucking axe pendulum on it and everything. Yeah. And
it's interestingly revealing though, because like you're right, he uses it as a power move in a sense, and also kind of just like almost a leadership move, like he's giving a big speech and everything. But it is revealing of his fears, because I mean he's explaining what he subjectively views what terror is, and that is just the passing of time. And it seems specifically because he uses like a heartbeat, like basically sound. It seems like you said, it's like it's the awareness of that passing of time. If we distract ourselves and we're having orgies and we're drinking and we're doing whatever, who cares? But the moment that midnight hits and you hear the chimes of the clock, then oh no, we're aware that this could come to an end. And so I think it's really cool. It's a really cool little speech he does, and just going from room to room, showing these like, it's like he set it up for the speech. He has these like displays almost with the clock and everything. It's
well, and just sandwiching it in between, like his actual party where you're seeing his guests like picking their teeth with knives and like making out in the background, and he at one point brings in these like little person performers, Esmeralda, who is weirdly is a child actor who's been dubbed, the girl, and then Hop Toad, who actually is like a little actor, Skip Martin, and he brings them in for their entertainment to do a little dance. And we'll get back into like how that plays into the story, but it's funny, it's actually basically beat for beat another Poe short story called Hop Frog, which is about an abused sort of like jester dwarves and their practical joke loving king. And we'll talk about when when the hilariously gruesome sort of revenge story aspect of it kicks in, but that's just part of this thing, is that he feels that look at these little weirdos for our entertainment. And the worst line I thought was when Alfredo creepily leers and he takes an interest in the Esmeralda's innocence that has not yet been corrupted. I was like, what do you mean by those words?
Yeah, and then you even have Price's character blatantly say like you like. It's something like you like the female form, especially if you can corrupt its innocence or something like that. So there's so much implied in those two passing lines of dialogue with him and Esmeralda.
I was like, Alfredo, Jesus Christ. Well, then he slaps her because she accidentally knocks over a goblet of wine, and it's obviously that's what ends up upsetting the Hop Toad character and everything as well. Yeah. So and the Alfredo character is like it's so funny. He's like just almost as evil as Vincent Price, but he's Vincent Price's like secondhand man. He's invited to the party. Vincent Price also feels that he can shit on him and like throw shit in his face and make fun of him and belittle him in front of everyone.
And I think it's really smart too for Corman to, well, I don't know exactly whose decision it was. Maybe it was Beaumont's, but to put these two stories together, because both of them kind of have that similar premise of just like the oppressed kind of uprising at one point. I guess with specifically the Mask of the Red Death, it's almost like just the supernatural is uprising because this man deserves it. But with Esmeralda and is his name Hop Frog?